Welcome back, adventurers. I'm so excited you're joining me today. We have a very special episode for you. Today we're going to the Lands, and it is going to be an incredible adventure. We're going to see Soarin, we're going to go ride the land ride, we're going to explore the amazing planet show. I'm going to show you all the incredible places to eat inside the Lands. It is one of my favorite pavilions. It is beautiful, it's exciting, so come on, let's have an adventure. One of my favorite things about the pavilion is the beautiful mosaics. They are on both sides, and they have gardens in the middle with an open air section to let the sun in, so it's always light and bright in here. But as you see, each of these mosaics is made up of beautiful handcrafted tiles that have a vibrant and inviting picture on them. It also has seating all along the whole entrance and ramp to the Lands, but they also have this section right here that's for handicapped and wheelchair and ECVs only. However, people do walk in it. I know it's very, very empty right now, but a lot of times there are also people walking up in it. But this is supposed to be for wheelchair and ECVs only. I asked her to tell me something I didn't know about the Lands, and she had the best story, so I wanted her to share with you guys.
Yeah, so it's this little green dot right here amongst the entire mural. It signifies the land.
Oh, cool. That is awesome. Thank you. When you first enter the Lands Pavilion, there is an incredible map there that shows you which direction to go for everything, but there's always a cast member who is super friendly and willing to answer any questions you have. They also have hand sanitizer stations located at the map and throughout the whole pavilion. Soarin' across America is an exhilarating hang gliding experience where you're lifted up to an IMAX screen to view all sorts of incredible and iconic scenes, such as the Taj Mahal to the Swiss Alps. This ride does have a seatbelt safety feature. So let's take a quick moment to talk about some of the accommodations that you might enjoy or need while visiting the Land Pavilion. You may want to bring your noise canceling earmuffs or your earplugs because downstairs can get very, very loud. Now upstairs there are little cubby areas to sit that are off to the side. It is a lot more sensory friendly, but it is still a little loud. But downstairs is very saturating is the best word for it. You also may want to bring sunglasses if that helps you block out how thick the crowds are, or a blanket for a child that may feel overwhelmed and need to escape quickly if it is too many people or if it is too much. You also want to go ahead and watch the POVs of the rides to make sure it's something that you feel comfortable with. If you have a fear of heights, or if you have a lot of anxiety, or if tilted or vertigo based movements are a problem for you, then you may want to avoid Soarin. It does bring you up. Now you can ask to be on the lowest platform, but even the lowest platform will be raised up. You're on a bench with a lot of other people. There is just a single seatbelt lap belt, but it doesn't go quickly, but it does tilt forward, backward, and side to side. They do blow in different scents to make it a very immersive experience. It is very cool. It is like you're parasailing or paragliding through the different adventures and scenes that they're going through. It's extremely enjoyable, but it can be anxiety provoking for people that do have vertigo, anxiety, or a fear of heights. Next up is my favorite ride, Living with the Lands. This is where we can take a slow-moving boat cruise through the history of farming. Not only that, but Disney reveals their latest and greatest ways of growing crops. They show you how they're making bigger fruits, how they're using aquaponics to help it with conservation efforts, and they share with you their dream for how to increase the food supply globally for those that are food insecure.
Please remain behind the yellow line until the boat comes to a complete stop. Our journey begins as dramatic and sudden changes are sweeping over the land. The approaching storm may seem violent and destructive to us, but to nature, it's a new beginning in the cycle of life. Beneath the surface of the land, roots trap water from the flowing mud, extracting precious nutrients and minerals. These elements, when combined with sunlight, create the diverse living systems of our planet. In the desert, nature has created a very different, but no less beautiful living system. And while this arid landscape may seem lifeless, it is very much alive. The plants and animals that have learned to survive in these harsh conditions make use of what little water they can find and avoid the scorching rays of the relentless sun. Of all the forces at work on the land, humans have had one of the most profound effects. The need to produce food for a growing world led to the enormous use and sometimes overuse of the land. In our search for more efficient ways to grow food, we often fail to realize the impact of our methods. Today, we're learning to live with the land, discovering better ways to grow food that will assure both human and environmental well-being. To help us maintain these carefully controlled ecosystems, and for your safety, please remain seated in your boat at all times. Welcome Welcome to our living laboratory, where scientists from Epcot and the U.S. Department of Agriculture are exploring innovative ways to produce bountiful harvests now and into the future. The tropics are home to the greatest diversity of plants on the planet. Many of these, like papaya, bananas, cacao, coffee, and rice, are well known around the world. These are just a few of the edible plants that have been an important source of nutrition for people living in the tropics. Many are rich in vitamins and minerals, while others are well adapted to growing in less than ideal conditions. Some, like the water lily, thrive in wet, swampy areas and waterways. All parts of this plant, even the flower petals, are edible. The starchy root of the plant has long been used to make flour for baking. One day, many of these lesser-known tropical plants may be as important as the bananas growing on both sides of the boat. More than 28 million tons of bananas are eaten annually, making it the most popular fruit in the world. When we mention farming, you probably don't think of fish, but fish farming, or aquaculture, accounts for nearly half of all the seafood consumed globally. Tilapia, bass, and catfish, like the ones you see here, are three of the more popular crops raised by fish farmers. The sustainable system we're using here recycles the water in the tanks. As a result, we're able to save millions of gallons each year. Our small fish farm produces nearly 5,000 pounds of fish each year to serve in restaurants around Walt Disney World. Innovations like this one can play an important role in our efforts to produce bountiful harvests and still protect natural resources. While there are more than 50,000 edible plant species in the world, most of us are only familiar with the handful that make up our everyday diet. The common grains growing here, wheat, maize, sorghum, and millet, plus rice, account for nearly 2/3 of our global food consumption. Learning how to increase yields of these staples is an important goal of research around the world.
For your safety, please remain seated at all times. Thank you.
These plants are definitely on their way up. Innovative growing techniques like these increase yields while more efficiently using resources like water, fertilizer, and pesticides. Another innovation at work here is our integrated pest management program. By populating our greenhouses with beneficial insects that prey on harmful pests, like aphids and flies, we are significantly reducing our reliance on conventional pesticides. We're growing these crops using our nutrient film system. This technique precisely controls and recycles water and nutrients. With it, we can produce over 27,000 heads of lettuce a year in this one small area. Some of our best ideas have been inspired by nature, like these fruit and vegetable trees. By growing these ground plants vertically, we can increase yields and better control diseases. These crops taste as good as they look. In fact, we serve more than 15 tons of produce from our greenhouses in restaurants here at the Land every year. The future of agriculture may include innovative ideas like this vertical growing system. Plants grown in this way use a fraction of the space required by traditional growing methods. That saves water and increases production. The aquaponic system on your left combines hydroponics with aquaculture. The fish provide a natural source of fertilizer for the plants, and the plants help keep the water clean for the fish. It's another great way to produce more while using less. In our lab, Epcot scientists are working with the U.S. Department of Agriculture on a number of innovative projects. The goal of these efforts is to produce higher yielding and better quality plants.
On behalf of Walt Disney World, we hope you enjoyed this unique journey through our living laboratory. If you'd like a closer look, then check
These greenhouses represent just a fraction of the work being done worldwide to produce bountiful harvests for our growing
Beyond the Seed was a 1-hour walking tour that would take you through 4 greenhouses and the fish farm. You would have an amazing opportunity to see all the different fascinating and unique ways that Disney's making bigger and more prolific food. You also would talk about soil, how you could increase your own gardens to benefit from the knowledge of Disney, and you would get to see lots of cool and amazing things. Unfortunately, since shutdown, this feature has not returned. I have been assured that Beyond the Seed will return. They're just unsure of the timeline of the reopening. If you are downstairs at the Land Pavilion and need to go to the restroom, there's actually right by Soarin some bathrooms that are fairly underutilized. So they usually don't have a line. There's quite a few stalls. And the good news is that beyond the bathrooms, there is a darker section that tends to be slightly quieter and usually is away from the crowd. Now there are some employees that come in and out of that area, but it is a way to get a slight sensory break and have toilets so you don't have to fight people with it. The quick service restaurant located inside the Lands Pavilions is called The Seasons. It is located between Soarin and on the other side we have Living with the Land. So it is directly in the middle. Let's take a look at what the Seasons has to offer. Over here we have desserts and pastries. They have a mini chocolate bundt cake, a lemon chiffon cake, chocolate chip cookies, M&M sugar cookies, cookies and cream and chocolate mousse, strawberry shortcake, turtle brownies, chocolate croissant, orange cinnamon rolls. Just sounds delicious. Self-serve sodas, teas, coffees, and hot chocolates are available. They have cheese pizza rolls, pepperoni pizza rolls, and they have those also available in a kids portion and kids meal as well. They have roast beef sandwiches, fish tacos, Mediterranean vegetable sandwich. In the Asian zone, they have the noodle options, which is the stir-fried chicken, the Mongolian beef, the stir-fried shrimp, the vegetable korma, and then they have a selection of your bottled drinks, including alcoholic options of Heineken, Corona, and a few other things. In their grab-and-go section, they have a assortment of grapes, watermelons, pineapples, small salads, and also your cheese and meat combinations, some wrapped fruit, and some chips. And this is the soup and salad section. They have an Asian vegetable noodle salad, a power salad, a Caesar salad, and then they do also let you know the variety of soft drinks that they have at this location. Choose a variety of kid-related options, from chocolate milk and apple juice in small bottles of water, Go-Gurt, small packages of carrots, cookies, little Uncrustables, and much more. And now to my favorite, the grill. It has the oak grilled rotisserie chicken, the oak grilled salmon, the chicken drumsticks, the salmon, and the macaroni and cheese. The sunshine season is shaped in a half circle as the entire building goes in a full circle. So there's a lot of flow and not a lot of backup. What's great about the seasons is that if you have children or people with particular taste that may not like exotic foods or trying new things, this is a great place to make sure that there's just regular basic foods that they can have, that they will enjoy, while still having options to try new things or have a little more exotic taste. So there's a little bit of something for everybody, and it's reasonably priced. The seating for the Sunshine Pavilion is maybe the one thing that is kind of a challenge. You have to walk through the seating area to get to both Soarin and the Lands if you're going between the two. And also they are shaped like a cloud, which is beautiful when you're looking down at it as an aerial view from the first floor. But when you're in a wheelchair or ECV trying to find a place to sit, it can be a challenge. As you can see, they do have benches that line the whole outside of the cloud, and then they have tables. They do have some freestanding tables in the middle, but there is not enough room to bring your ECV in busy times. Now, there used to be down times of the year where there was less people and it was easier, but lately there has really not been any slow season. That is kind of the downside to the sunshine seasons, is the seating. When you exit the elevator by the Lands, you will also find a set of bathrooms on the first floor, and these bathrooms usually are not as busy as any on the bottom floor. They do have water fountains, and it is right here by the Garden Grill, and so that's really exciting. But also, if your ECV needs to be charged, they do have some plugs down there on the floor at several locations here where you can charge your ECV or your cell phone while you're waiting for your reservation to come up. On the first floor of the Lands Pavilion is the Garden Grill restaurant, and this is hands down my favorite restaurant in all of the Disney World parks. This restaurant actually spins. It's very slow, but the characters come out and they hug you, and you can take pictures with them, and they come to your table, and it turns, and when you get to the back section of this restaurant, you're actually looking out into Lands Ride. And the food here is incredible. It is a 3-course meal, family style. What I like about this also is that when it comes to character dining, it can be extremely pricey. And this location is very reasonable for the food you get and the experience you have and the turning restaurant. I'm not going to say it's cheap, but it is definitely way more affordable than some of the other character meat. Okay, so if you want a dining reservation, you can actually scan the code, but you can also go on your app. And the My Disney Experience app, you can get a reservation. So let's look at what they're having. And they told us at these that they are not kidding. It is like the most amazing food, and you can eat till you pop. And it's awesome. Not that you should eat till you pop, but you could. They have the All You Care to Enjoy. And here's the hours and the ages and the prices. And then they have the food options. Look at how beautifully the Lands is decorated. The festive streamers, the fun air balloons. It's absolutely beautiful. Awesome Planet is a continuously running film that runs approximately 10 minutes long. here in the Harvest Theater, they do offer handicap seating. The downside is that there's not very many seats to accommodate your family with it, so they will have to either sit one on one side and two on the other, or sit in the rows in front of you. However, it is quite easy to navigate down this stream and then back into this section, and then you're right here next to the exit door.
If you were looking for the perfect home, this would be it. I know it doesn't look move-in ready just yet, but trust me, this property is one of a kind. An awesome planet. Come on, let me show you around. There are lots of neighborhoods to choose from. By the way, we call them biomes, and they're all great places to live. For example, if you like water, you're in luck, because most of the real estate on this planet is ocean, but also with the fish and creatures that live under the sea. Oh, and if you're wondering about the schools, just ask the fish, too. We call them deserts. Take your pick. Oh, and both poles come with built-in ice makers. Well, they kind of are ice makers. Just imagine the long winter walks, the grasslands. They're one of our most popular neighborhoods. Plan. That's because this planet is alive and always working to keep things in balance. Forests and oceans soak up carbon dioxide and provide oxygen. Arctic seas absorb CO2 as well. And with it, ocean levels and temperatures are rising. Sadly, that means coral reefs are dying, and flooding is becoming more prevalent. Now, I would never try to sell you on a home that has no hope or future. And while it's true that the challenge to restore the balance has never been greater, the opportunity has never been greater as well. Well, it's been a quick tour, but hopefully you're sold now on this dream home called Earth. And that's good, because as far as we've searched throughout the universe, we've never found another place that can support life. To protect our planet, we invite you to visit Disney Conservation Fund online and social media.
We have had an incredible adventure today visiting one of my absolute favorite places in Epcot. If it's hot or if it's stormy, it's a perfect place to go because it's air conditioned, it's inside, it's considered a storm shelter, it's safe, it's fun, it's beautiful. It ticks all the boxes of a must do at Epcot. So I hope if you do go to Epcot that you'll check it out. It's a lot of fun. Right now, if you haven't done it, can you go hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell? Leave me a comment. What was your favorite part of the Lands Pavilion? And what adventures would you like to see us go on in the future? Now remember, if you don't subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll miss out. We are still going to go to the Space of Earth and check out the brand new games that they have down there. They redid that a while back, and we're going to go in and show you each of the different stations. We're also going to go to the new carousel that just reopened at Universal. There's lots of fun and exciting things coming up, and if you don't subscribe, you may miss them. So until next time, stay adventurous.